My name is Hayden. Today I will be giving my presentation on the project for our careers. The career I've chosen to do my project on is a lawyer, or as other people may know it as becoming attorney. As of right now, I have not started anything school-wise for law, as a getting a law degree does not require any kind of requirements as an AA. You can take your prereqs now, your normal Englishes, your normal maths, and that's kind of what I'm doing at the moment. But I hopefully will be starting, per se, the program when I start my bachelor's next year. The first step is getting your bachelor's in legal studies as such. I will show you here later on in the project. Other than that, I've always wanted to do something pretty neat, and I thought law would be an awesome thing to do. It's kind of funny to say, but being able to watch TV shows like Law and Order and stuff, I always found it very interesting of watching the lawyers and how everything works and understanding the history of law and the case studies and everything like that. Alright, let's get started. Let's talk a little bit more about corporate law, which is the practice I want to mainly be following. First, to start off with, like I said before, education. Of course, as a lot of people probably know, to get a law degree takes a long time, and there is a lot behind it. It's not as much as getting your PhD, it's not as many years, but there is a lot that goes into the school. Just like I did say also before, there's nothing you can really do as far as an AA. There's no certain classes you can take. You're just your prereqs, get your Englishes out of your way, your math credits out of your way, whatever kind of credits you really need. The degree required to practice law is a juris doctorate, and in order to attain this degree, you must go to an accredited law school. This meaning a school that has an accredited law program in it. Unfortunately, UCF does not. The only thing they do offer is a bachelor's in legal studies, which is the bachelor's degree needed in order to move on to law school. Or I guess what shouldn't really say needed, but what they want you to take to try to learn to get ready to go to law school. Big accredited law schools around here, of course, would be Florida State, Florida. Stetson University has a great one, and there's also one here local called Berry Law School. Once you've finished and graduated, the next part from that is taking your bar exam for that state. Once you have passed your bar exam, you're now a legal attorney in the state that you've taken the bar in. So say if you take the bar exam here in the state of Florida, you're now a legal attorney in the state of Florida. Salaries. So, a lot of people always know, wow, attorneys, lawyers make a lot of, really good money. I will say this, some lawyers can, the salaries aren't as big as what people really do think. And the biggest thing of why I've chose to want to do corporate law is it is one of the most secured practices of law. You're not having to worry about working for yourself or small little town law firms. You're working for that huge big corporation that has a lot of people built in, and it's more secured. Starting salary for a normal attorney, looking at around 75,000 is the median in the state of Florida. And then when you jump up to after your years you've put in, you get into what you're mainly going to do, etc. So for example, corporate law, depending on how big the firm is you work for and how big the corporation you're working for, median starting salary is around 120,000, and then it goes up from there depending on how many years of experience you also have. I will say this, depending on, you can see people that have experience from 5 to 10 years are making a lot less than people that have experience from 20 to 30 to even 40 plus years. Of course, with anything, the more experience you have, the more money you can charge people. So the job outlook. In 2014, there reported to be around 778,000 corporate lawyers around the entire United States, which to me doesn't seem, very much. Not a lot of people like law and like all the reading and everything that goes into it. That's why, as you can see here, the outlook from 2014 to 2024, the growth is only looking to be around 6%, which is understandable. Law is something that, you have to really love and want to do. But the nice thing also too is there's no outside work experience. Once you're in law school, you're going to learn everything there is to need to know about law, and then from there you take it in your own hands to research more if there needs to be done. A little more about the job out. Corporate law, also known as company or corporations law, is the study of how shareholders, directors, employees, creditors, and other stakeholders such as consumers. The community and the environment interact with one another. Corporate law is a part of a broader company's law or law of business of associates. So just to pretty much sum it up, any kind of contract, legal documents, anything to do with, say, a big corporation is handled by their corporate lawyers just for that reason. If there's something happens, there's a sue, or something happens with somebody inside within the company, that's why they have their own corporate lawyers for that corporation. Now let's get to the job duties of a corporate lawyer. The role of a corporate lawyer is to ensure the legality of commercial transactions, advising corporations on their legal rights and duties, including the duties and responsibilities of corporate officers. In order to do this, they must have a knowledge of aspects of contract law, tax law, accounting, securities, bankruptcy, intellectual property rights, licensing, zoning laws, and laws specific to the business of the corporations they work for. So this is just pretty much going into what I just said in the last slide of what, the corporations need out of their lawyers that they have hired for them. It is very important, of course, you have corporations making millions and millions of dollars. You got to make sure that money's going to the right spots, that it's paid off to the right people. Anything coming in needs to be done right. Contracts need to be looked over. Everything, make sure everything is in a fine-tooth nail. One little mess up and it could cost a corporation millions and millions of dollars, and nobody wants that. So it is very important when it comes down to the attorney that he makes sure that everything is done right and that everything is settled right, so that way down the road there's no problems. Working environment. Everybody should know, attorneys work in their own offices. As any typical attorney, their workspace is based off, and usually inside a big or small office, always depending on how big the corporation you work for or the law firm that you work for. If you work in a little town, the law firm's not going to be very big. Your office is just going to be a normal size office, to where if you're working for a huge corporation, you've seen some buildings, they're huge, you could have a nice big office. Whoa. The environment is great, settled. The environment is great, settled, and most times quiet. For the reason most work is done for yourself inside your own office. When you're having to do paperwork, read up on case studies, or what else you need to figure out what's going on. A couple fun facts. It does take 3 years to complete a law degree at an accredited law school. So normally it's about a 5-year total, so you got 2 years to finish your bachelor's, and if you're on the right track and you do everything you need to and follow the entire program, it is about 3 years to attain your law degree. Corporate law is one of the biggest law practices there is. We have so many corporations and so many huge businesses here in the United States that it does take a big team of lawyers to make sure everything runs right. You have corporations that have hundreds of thousands of people working for them, and there's always big transactions going on, so that's why corporate law is one of the biggest there is. And as well, being the biggest, you have one of the highest earning salaries. Like I said earlier before, you're not having to rely on family law or somebody coming in and talking to you to make sure to try to have that case. You're always going to be busy with what's going on within the corporation. And that sums it all up. I hope you guys enjoyed my presentation. This class has been awesome, taught me a lot, and hopefully I can pursue my life here as an attorney. And thank you very much.